those like weird fallback units that is just too perfect for moments that you know someone's going to be bringing to the table here. So I'm really hoping that we get to see something really fun. Sekhmet's going to be banned out by Nickclas, which is that #1 turn 1 unit, screaming Nickclas wants to take that turn 1. Laura getting banned out by Mocca.
Yeah, and Sekhmet hasn't missed once this tournament, so I can totally see why she deserves to soak up the pre-ban, given that track record in just these few short matches. And there's the more lockdown from Mocca, which is a good grab because both these players value that monster extremely highly.
Yeah, they really do. I love that 24 speed lead being drafted by Mocca already, showing that he's willing to speed contest. And I love that Nick's answering back, looking to speed contest himself. But as for two players that know each other very well, as they stated, do you really speed contest? Or I want to see what the transition unit is. What is the unit that's going to be the aha moment? Is it that Ganny? Is it like a Swift Ganny or something? I have no clue. But Cigar, Chiwu on one side, Ganny Masha on the other.
Oh yeah, and the Chiwu pick is so cool, especially because of the recent change that made it so he now applies glancing on that third skill. It's not going to mean too much against the Ganny, but it could really hinder the Masha if he opens. And again, this is very dependent on turn 1 here.
Ooh, Shizuka Jamair hitting the field right now. So both speed leads have been laid down on the field by Nickclas. Very interesting. I love the combination between Jamair, Shizuka, Jamair, and the Cigar. I think those are great units. Juno's hitting the field in response to, of course, I believe Chiwu and that Shizuka.
Yeah, there's great synergy on the side of Nick. I just can't help but notice that Mocca has drafted a ton of answers already to the Shizuka and more, considering that Masha applies immunity.
Wow.
Oh, a Veronica. That's actually something that could really shift the tide of combat. I love that last pick. It may almost soak up the ban.
Yeah, because right now I think the ban for Nickclas is actually banning out the Juno. Juno's gone, man. And so is that Veronica. That is one insane unit to be dropping onto the field right now with the draft that Nickclas has already showed. So that Veronica 100% going to be the ban. 24 speed lead for both players here. Let's get into it, man. We've got a fun one with Nickclas and Mocca. Let's see what happens, guys.
Let's see who takes that turn 1. Like you said, Stoic, Swift Ganny is going to take it, and he could use this opportunity to reset the Chiwu to make sure there's no strip available, leaving more to follow up for a skill 2. Possibly strip. Gets the Cigar's immunity. Now Masha could make something happen.
Yeah, Masha definitely looking to make something happen here with a massive defense break with a violent proc. Definitely going to be finishing up that Jemai. Really? Okay, maybe this is going to be enough. Maybe this will be enough.
He's trying to go for the double here. And now we could get all things in nature. Now remember, everybody, because Jameer doesn't have a passive, that makes him a hugely valuable recall for or a revive target for Shizuka, so that way he can bust out that third skill to reset everybody.
Yeah, most definitely, but I do think Mocca is getting the advantage right now taking these units from the field. I don't know if Shizuka has what it takes to be able to bounce back, because keep in mind, Ganymede still being on this field, being able to ventilate and even reset with that third skill is insane here. So obviously third skill is going to hit the field, looking to get his skills back up onto the Cigar. I was actually waiting to see a facial reaction from Nick when he saw the Swift Ganny, and there was no reaction. He stayed stone cold here, because maybe the Swift Ganny is a normal thing Mocca drafts here, because I do think that was kind of like what really shifted things for him.
Yeah, and I want to call back to the pick ban phase. I don't love the Shizuka into so many options or so many reactions already. There's already counters into a Ganymede, into a Masha. Like, there's already so much that you can't apply the debuffs to, or it could reset you. And now Mocca's kind of just going through the motions here as he kind of cleans up this game.
Yeah, definitely. I don't think Shizuka is going to be the one to finish this one off here, because for sure we're going to be losing that Cigar here. And, Shizuka is going to be shortly behind that as well. Definitely concedes in that match. Mocca taking round 1 away from Nick.
Really nice draft. Super well-rounded, and it was almost manufactured in a lab to take down Shizuka. That's what I'm talking about, because as much as we highlight that unit, as much as we elevate that unit, picking her into a Ganymede, a Masha, and then a Juno to come later, it's kind of tough, man. It's not a great environment.
Yeah, that was a great draft coming out of Mocca there. I feel like he I want to say surprise him with the Swift Ganymede. You know, I asked for a Swift Ganymede, and that's what that was a Swift Ganymede, and I think that is definitely something that surprised Nick for sure. And I think that was kind of like the turning point. This is where we saw someone prepare for his opponent, brought something in, and I think Mocca got the edge on him with that unit. So did Nick bring something to surprise Mocca as well? I want to say that's how these two kind of have to prepare for each other, because if both players know what how both of them are going to be playing here, there's got to be that surprise. And I think Ganymede in this case was that surprise unit to really set things off there and stop Nick in his tracks.
Yeah, it's exactly what you asked for, and it's a great answer. Even like, let's hazard a guess for a second, say maybe the Chiwu was the thing that was unexpected. Maybe that's what Nick was bringing that wasn't being expected. You know that's a super fast unit. It's going to be ruined on your best Swift set, and it's probably going to be off will because of it. So you bring a super fast Ganny to answer. It's like, now I have taken advantage of this game, and I'm just going to move forward uncontested. And then from there, it's just clean play with things like the Masha.
Yeah, most definitely. So depending how this match goes, Mocca definitely prepared for Nick here. If Mocca ends up being a victor here, I would love to see how well Mocca then responds to a player he has not been practicing up against. But let's get through this first bout here with Nickclas and Mocca and see what happens, because we've got match number 2 coming in here. Pre-bans from last time. Sekhmet and Laura are now available going into this match. So Mocca's going to have one of his faster units able to draft going into this match. So with that being said, Mocca should be better in a turn 1 style of play, where he was able to, outspeed again in that first match there, going up against Nickclas. So let's see what happens with Nickclas now that he has Laura in his wheelhouse.
Yeah, that's almost a guaranteed free start if he's so inclined. Bans out the Tian Lang, and of course that Swift Ganymede is getting thrown in the trash can.
We know exactly what that says. Nickclas has a lot of units that are off-will, and Mocca remembers those off-will units. So he's banning out that Ganymede because of that. Tian Lang, to no surprise, obviously getting banned out here, potentially because maybe Mocca was trying to bring in a Oliver to his draft here, but Nickclas has that first pick, taking that Oliver away, and I think that's an excellent pick here.
Yeah, it's also indicative of what kind of game plan Nick is trying to take, too. It's like if you're banning out that option, it's like you want to pick things off will, uncontested. You want to go fast, perhaps. Mocca taking the Jameer and the Shizuka. These units play really well together. Again, reviving Jameer is a great target because it can reset the all things in nature, cleanse the rest of your team. So just 2 high-value units that happen to synergize super well. There's the Laura. It's back in play, Stoic.
Yep, Laura's coming in here with that cigar as well. These are excellent units to be teaming up together. 33 speed lead for Nickclas. Look at him to drop in another speed lead there as he wraps up his draft here. Mocca with the Hagang and the Connell coming in here. I do think Hagang might be getting that ban already, though.
Yeah, that is definitely signaling the ban. I think that's kind of that hot thing you got to remove, because you don't want to get boosted when you're just trying to strip them. You don't want them to get boosted and cleansed. That's just not what you want. Veronica is not looking much more likely to get into the game. The only thing that I could maybe see is, unless you value that Oliver a little bit more, that consistent means of reducing cooldown times.
Well, Veronica's definitely going to get in this game right here. Mocca drafting that Juno says he's letting the Veronica through with the ban. And the ban goes out onto the Juno. But guess what? Nick does not want to see the Juno because he wants to see his Veronica thrive. I do think Hagang's going to be a problem.
Yeah, Hagang is actually going to be a huge thorn in his side here. He's going to strip, and the inverse is going to happen. Let's see. Hagang boosts him up. Uses skill 2, can apply glancing here to really put a wrench in Nickclas's plan.
This could be really bad. Glancing does apply on top of the Laura and on top of that Veronica, which is definitely not what Nickclas needed to see here. Does keep his immunity on top of his Oliver, and Oliver is going to be primed and ready to try to turn things around here.
A nice provoke from Carnal, denies the third skill from Laura. So right now the game plan is still in action, though. Oh, kind of a weird proc from the Jameer, just a little extra damage from the Veronica, but you don't really want to see that right now, because now Cigar can open up the Shizuka and reset.
Yep, beautiful reset there, getting the provokes across the board as well. And of course, Oliver's trying to get things back online. And, oh man, it's tough to see it, but there's that nice little second skill there going right into the Connell, using the third skill all the way back onto Jameer.
Yeah, and remember, Jameer is still going to have the third skill available, but he's got to get out of that provoke first. He can cleanse as soon as if he happens to proc, he could get all this stuff cleansed up because that third skill can't be increased cooldown time.
I think if Nickclas handles that Shizuka and that Jemire well, this definitely has this match in the bag for sure. He's got all skills available. I feel like it doesn't hurt to use any of these skills because I don't think he's going to let this Shizuka really take any turns. He's got beautiful damage coming in there. Those provokes are very, very nice that he had locked in on top of the Jemire. If he keeps up that, I don't see Mocca getting through this round number 2.
Yeah, and now he can just kind of suck up some of that attack bar from the Cardinal, recycle it, and repurpose it to keep the Jemire down later. So that way he doesn't cleanse anything up, but he's almost to the point where he's dying from dots. There you go. That's the kill on the Jemire right there, so he can start focusing on other units.
Yeah, definitely. Obviously, Shizuka is going to be a unit that he really wants to get rid of. Mocca looking to get a Despair Stun, not happening there. Looking to get any stuns at all with that second skill, not receiving anything there. Trying to drop the units that are honestly going to be dropping next there, and that's going to be that Connell. He seems to be the unit of focus for Nickclas right now, but I do think he has to give a lot of attention to that Shizuka. Of course, Oliver is going to be cutting in here. He needs to stun up the Oliver.
And the slow is not enough to dissuade that turn from him. He's going to take the kill on the Heigang, and now, just as Mocca was doing last time, Nickclas going through the motions, taking down these units as possible. But wait, we get one from Shizuka. Can a miracle happen?
I really hope that, or I was actually hoping Nickclas was going to give a lot more attention to the Shizuka, because you should have been worried about the skills up with Shizuka there, because he was giving some hits there that were going towards that Khan. I really think he should have gave attention to the Shizuka. I don't think this changes anything, but this obviously brings up more opportunities for Mocca to try to find something here. He's got that skill 2 available. It's going to be some AoE damage. I don't believe this is built on like a Despair Jemire or anything like that, because that's going to be it for the Connell there. This should be it for that Shizuka, but he definitely has to be careful with those kind of decisions that he made.
Yeah, that was some good play, and I gotta say, Stoic, I love seeing more Cigar action. I think that unit is so cool, and it is such a great answer to Shizuka.
Yes, I love the Cigar. I think this is an excellent unit. Lots of provokes, the resets, the strips. You know, if you get that second skill, man, you're able to combo with so many things. You know, take advantage of the defense break that you're able to apply, and it feels like it's up so often as well. It's I think it's like 3 cooldowns for that second skill. So it is a very, very good unit. We've been seeing a lot of this paired up with a lot of 33 speed leads, whether it's Oliver, whether it's Vanessa, comes to the table, and it is something a lot of players have to worry about. Heigang definitely comes in handy, and it seems to be a unit that a lot of people will rely on in results of like Cigar, and of course that Laura as well that Nickclas was bringing.
Yeah, I didn't dislike the Heigang at all. We said that it was going to be a thorn, and it's definitely something you got to take into account, and it looked like it was just about to make something happen, but unfortunately you just couldn't quite cut it, and also bringing the water up against the wind is kind of a tough thing. You know, you got the Oliver out there, you got the Cigar out there, and ultimately Cigar is going to be able to facilitate that damage with the defense break. Also, it bears mentioning, his skill 1, that provoke on Cigar, that's a pretty good answer to things like Jemire that can't have their third skill reset.
That is correct, man. That's why Cigar is like so good in that case right there. I love the Cigar. Now, I think if Heigang got more Despair Stuns out there, I feel like we didn't see a single Despair Stun coming from the Heigang, if I remember correctly. So there was just no like change of pace there for Mocca. So maybe no Heigang going into this match here, especially with the Laura getting banned out. We're getting pre-bans from that very first match.
Yeah, could have seen a different game if that happened. I agree with you. If we had seen a few more Despair Stuns from that unit, then maybe we could have. Let's see how this game differs from the first couple. Players still feeling each other out. They get to kind of experiment a little bit with how they want to approach these next couple games, and we see the return of the Chiwu and the Ganny.
Wow, taking the Ganny away from Mocca this time, because the Ganny's what facilitated that victory in that very first match. So it's being taken by Nickclas here. I think that's an excellent draft to take that away from him, because I do think he can synergize it the same way going up against Mocca. Now, is Mocca looking at his units and he's checking himself for his non-willed up units? Because that's kind of what set Nickclas back. So does Mocca go into this, you know, thinking, or maybe even knowing how fast that Ganymede is?
That's exactly what I was going to say, Stoic, is he's got to check to see if his units are willed up at this point. Can they resist the Swift Ganny or not? And here's the Shizuka too. We'll see. I think Nick is doing a really good job of incorporating the Ganymede into the team, because there is always that thought, is he taking it just to take it, or does it have a place on the team? And in this one, it seems like it does.
Yeah, I think Nickclas actually took that Ganny because he didn't want to see it happen here. I mean, the only off-willed unit that we saw was this Chiwu here. I do believe the Shizuka and the Pra are willed up here, so maybe taking the Ganymede was a little too preemptive, because it looks like Mocca's taking his draft, and he's kind of like... he's flipping it right now. He's going turn 1, where originally Nickclas, I think, was looking at a turn 1 draft when he took that Ganny and that Chiwu. I am very curious to see if this is a Swift Ganymede, because the Swift Ganymede in Nicklas's case is not better for the draft. A Violent Ganymede is definitely going to be a lot better for his draft right now. Also drops in the Riley. I think the Riley is a great response to the Chung Pong, the Hay Gang, even the Connell Water Ryu. I think those are all things he's going to be letting through. Bans out the Hay Gang here, though.
Wow, the ban on the Chiwu and the ban on the Hay Gang, you're banning the polar opposites of each other. That's really fun. There's still 2 strips on the side of Mocca over there, Stoic. I'm kind of afraid that he could open up this team and just start reducing, or rather increasing, their cooldown times with the Oliver and the Chungpong. Let's see how much this more can do. A full team strip is the answer into a strong skill 3 from Chungpong.
Oh, and a Despair Chungpong at that. So that was beautiful. Things working out very, very well for Mocca. All units, of course, being willed up here, and we can confirm this is definitely a Violent Ganymede. We saw that attack bar was much lower, and if it was on Swift, it would be a lot higher than where it was. So it is a Violent Ganymede, not a Swift Ganymede, so we took that unit away from him. That being said, I think Mocca's got an excellent stat going into this match, and he's taken full control and full advantage of Nickclas.
Yeah, I liked what you said during the draft there, how a Violent Ganny is much more helpful to Nickclas, and that's even truer now, because if Ganny's in a position where he kind of needs to proc in order to get that Ventilate online, the first kill goes on the board, Mocca taking the Praha down, and the next one is soon to follow.
Yeah, definitely. I don't think Nickclas is going to be able to come back from this. This is where just Oliver becomes way too oppressive. Even Chungpong becomes way too oppressive. There's no immunity. There's no way that Nickclas can turn to protect himself from these units, because these units just have too much control. Water Ryu is so insane. Beautiful Despair Stuns popping out there with not just the Chungpong, but that Water Ryu as well. What a great draft. Well done by Mocca.
What a great draft indeed, Stark, because that one was definitely the pick ban phase kind of win. I mean, there were 3 different units that could take out the immunity at the start of the game. With the Hay Gang that was banned, we had the Chungpong, and we had the Moor. It was just a happy little surprise that we got to see Moor take out all of the immunity and open up the team. After that, the writing was on the wall. That's exactly what Mocca was drafting for.
Exactly. It took the Moor and the Chungpong on that very first turn to absolutely have that match go in Mocca's side of the field there. Took full control, full advantage of Nickclas there. And maybe the Ganymede take was too preemptive. I feel like some players got to be careful with taking these kind of things and making these preemptive decisions here, because it was not a Swift Ganny. It was a Violent Ganny that works out in his situation here. But maybe if there was a Swift Ganny on the other side of the field where this time Nickclas was fully willed up, would it matter if you let him have that Ganymede in the first place?
That's a really good question, and I think we were having this conversation with Seppi during the America's Cup prelims earlier, Stoic, where we were asking the question is, how much does it benefit the player to steal a unit just to steal it? You know, Ganymede, I thought, he did a pretty good job of incorporating it by taking big cooldown units like Shizuka. However, it really read to me that he just didn't want Mocca to have it.
Yeah, exactly. I think he really didn't want him to have it. I'm glad he tried to synergize a little bit better with his team as well, and I think that was great for Nickclas here. But pre-bans coming in here, bans out. It's so crazy that there's that much relying on Ganymede getting banned out here. And then, of course, Veronica to no surprise, getting banned out here. With an Oliver first pick from Nickclas, he's not going to let him have that unit.
He shouldn't let it. But yeah, the Ganymede pre-ban, where are we? It's crazy that we're seeing Ganymede pre-ban in this day and age. So fast to lock down the Jameer and the Shizuka, but we've seen this in the past. It hasn't fully worked out for him in previous games, but let's see if this one can be different. I mean, Mocca is at match point right now.
Yeah, Mocca's taking the Jameer. He's got the Shizuka down onto the field as well. 2 units that Nickclas was drafting. I do think we see that Chiwu come back to the field under Nickclas' control. He's got to expect that Hay Gang being dropped when he when he drafts that Laura and that Pra as well.
Yeah, we see something similar with the Laura, right? You know, he may double down with the Chiwu, but I think the Hay Gang would be very clear for Mocca after that. He's thinking about it. He's trying to see if maybe he wants to dig a little deeper into his box. How do you feel about the Juno here, Stoic?
I'm not a big fan of the Juno. I think it's fine. I think Juno is an excellent unit. Just maybe not here right now. I feel like we could see a Masha hit the field right now with the ban going out onto Shizuka, because I feel like Shizuka might be a problem unit, but I do love the Abelio and the Miles. So we're getting a change of pace here where he's opting to take turn 2, and this match is going to be dragged out just a little bit longer. Leo hits the field. I feel like Leo just comes across as one of those big band units when you've got units that are dealing damage based off speed. Oliver, Miles, units that are going to be built on additional damage by speed with Praha. You just can't help but ban out that Leo at the moment. But I do think this draft favors Nickclas a little bit. Shizuka just always being a problem unit.
Yeah, and we'll see how much this Juno ends up helping here. I'm still not sold on it even now. I think that it was kind of picked with only one unit in mind, in the fact that, it wakes up from the stun of Laura, it wakes up from the sleep of Praha, but it's Mocca that has the point to play with. Nickclas is the one that needs to win this game, right?
Yep, there's that Shizuka third skill going out on top of Oliver, trying to open things up here. Miles looking to get a stun here, not getting that stun on top of the Jemire, dealing a good amount of damage. We always see some great damage coming from the Miles, but no additional turns, and that's usually where Miles makes these big impacts. He was able to violent proc and just do massive amount of damage there. But we've got that third skill available, looking for full team strips here. Does get the full team strips. Beautiful additional damage. We see some good damage getting pumped on top of Shizuka, Sekhmet, and that Juno.
Yeah, and now that he's got this big resist coming out, actually, so he may not be able to capitalize on this quite as much as he had originally hoped. He's got to make sure that he never gets the window, make sure that Mocca never gets the window to drop that third skill from the Shizuka once it's online.
Evan, probably used that third skill to sleep everybody, right?
Yes, but I didn't see any sleeps there, Stoic.
Yeah, just checking, because that was rough. I don't know what Nickclas wanted to see there. I saw him nodding his head like, yep, thanks, game. So that was really, really rough there. And I feel like Mocca's able to kind of like get an edge based off of that. Chris Beautiful comes out, lays out a ton of negative effects. Shizuka's able to pile in on top of these effects as well. Keep in mind, Jemire's going to keep that train going. And this is kind of what may even halter this Oliver from being able to activate and take advantage of his opponent, because right now, I do think Mocca is able to keep immunity up for a really, really long time. Shizuka, Jemire kind of gets locked in, and this becomes a massive problem because there's that third skill. It's right back on top of Shizuka. She's got all things happening again. Nickclas is down a unit. Oh my! There's something going on with this Praha, and it is not working in Nicklas's favor.
No, it is absolutely not. In fact, that worked out super. This is all working out so much in Mocca's favor. This is such a. I don't even know what to say. It's so unprecedented. The Praha missing everything, and he didn't get the opportunity. Look at Nickclas. Nickclas is kind of laughing it off right now. He knows he lost, and there we go. Mocca with the win, moving forward with a 3-1 against Nickclas.
That's a tough one, man. Great victory from the newcomer Mocca. His first time in a tournament. This is his first time experiencing the stadium and all, and